Hi, this is True Colors. It is my lecture 3 and part 2 of class 2 as well, that is tone and voice. In my previous lecture, that was lecture 2nd, we have already discussed about what is tone, what is voice, their definition, their difference, their usage with example. Out of 155 tones, we have so far discussed about 69th tones, so the remaining tones we will discuss in particular lecture. So let's get started. In my previous video, I told you about that uh, the tone always shows the quality of feelings of authors or the mood of authors. Okay, and the voice always is a medium of expression, where I taught you that expressions means ideas, opinions, desires, and suggestions. See, the tone always represents or shows or demonstrate the quality of feelings or mood. The quality of feelings or mood. And the voice is the medium of expression. Tone is also called pitch. Okay, and the voice is also called sound. So, in my previous lecture, we have discussed about grim tone. That was 69th numbered tone. Okay, what was grim tone? A grim tone is typically used when something bad has happened or a sad event is described. Okay, when something bad has happened or a sad event is described, that in that particular situation we always use grim tone. Sentences with a grim tone usually have an unhappy connotation and focus on how the writer feels and focus on how the writer feels. For example, I hope she doesn't stab me. I hope she doesn't stab me. That was a really unfortunate day. Okay. In grim tone, the author, the writer, or the speaker always shows or represents his sad feelings, sadness, bad mood. Okay. So, in the 70th type of tone, that is hard tone. What is hard tone? Hard tone is often used in writing when the author or speaker feels anger or wants to sound severe. Okay, either author feels anger or he wants to sound severe. A hard tone tends to be primitive and aggressive. A hard tone tends to be primitive and aggressive. Examples: he just broke the law, you just stole my money. Then 71st number tone, humble tone. A humble tone is typically used when a writer feels insecure or apologetic about themselves. When a writer or a speaker or an author feels insecure or apologetic about themselves, then we use humble tone. Okay, with an honest, down to earth voice, humble writing can make readers feel close enough to relate to the subject matter. Okay, why we use, what is our purpose? Our means authors, writers, or speakers' purpose. He always shows an honest, down to earth voice in humbly when we write, so their writing can make readers, our examiner, or our listener, or our audience feel close enough to relate to the subject matter. Okay. Example: it really was not that hard. It really was not that hard, and I had a lot of help. We honestly need your help right now. Then 72nd, humorous tone. What is humorous tone? It is typically used when writing about something that isn't serious. That isn't serious. Humor can also provide comic relief from an otherwise stressful situation. Okay? Humor can also provide comic relief from an otherwise stressful situation. Example: I stop by that restaurant every day, even when they are closed. My dog is always so dramatic. Then next one is hypocritical or hypocritical tone. If someone is hypocritical, they act in contradiction of their stated values. Okay, whatever they said, their said words or sentence always contradict. If someone is hypocritical, they act in contradiction of their stated value. A hypocritical tone can be used as humor to mock one's own shortcomings. Okay, one's own shortcomings or weaknesses. Example: don't be late like me. I didn't know any better. You should. Then next one is impartial tone. What is impartial tone? It is typically used to describe something accurately without revealing any personal preference. Okay? Unbiasedly, without any bias. It is used to describe something accurately without revealing any personal preference. Example: the two teams came into the game evenly matched and they both performed well today despite injuries and other obstacles brought about by playing so late at night. Then second example is: please do your best to keep this discussion respectful. We want a productive debate on this issue. Then next, impassioned tone. Impassioned tone. Okay, passion it means impassioned tone. It typically used when the writer is trying to make somebody feels the same strong feelings as them, or we can call it a sympathetic tone. Sympathetic tone, or we can say that it is uh, empathetic tone. Okay, sympathetic or empathetic, how the writer feels should be felt by his reader or his examiner. So the impatient tone used when the writer is trying to make somebody feels the same strong feelings as them. Example, I was madly in love with him. The tears were streaming down his cheeks as the regret surged for what he had done. Then next one is imploring tone. An imploring tone is typically used to convey sincerity or regret. This tone is generally earnest. It emphasizes the writer's need for help, attention, or understanding. It emphasizes the writer's need for help, attention, or understanding. Example, please help me out. I am so sorry. Then next number tone is impressionable tone. Impressionable tone. An impressionable tone is typically used when someone is moved by something. When someone is moved by something. This type of writing may praise people even if they are not successful yet. Okay? That is why it is called impressionable tone. Example, you are really talented at drawing. Your project seems to be off to a great start. Then next, incensed tone. Incensed tone. An incensed tone is typically used in writing when somebody or something infuriates the writer. When somebody or something infuriates the writer. It can also be used to describe a situation that is emotionally disturbing. Example, how dare you insult me? Or you are fired. Then next, incredulous tone or incredulous tone. An incredulous tone is used when somebody finds something to be highly unlikely. Okay? When somebody finds something to be highly unlikely. An incredulous tone can show frustration with the subject. Example, I can't understand why you feel that way because I never said anything like that. That's impossible. Then next one is indignant tone or indignant tone. An indignant tone is typically used when somebody is angry or frustrated and exposing someone's wrongdoing. This tone of voice often has an aggressive undertone. This tone of voice often has an aggressive undertone. See, here I want to again reiterate that tone always or tone or pitch. Okay, tone equals to pitch. Tone is always represents the feelings or mood of author. The feelings or mood of author. Okay, so please don't get confused. Again reiterating, what is indignant tone? When an indignant tone is typically used when somebody is angry or frustrated and exposing someone's wrongdoing. This tone of voice often has an aggressive undertone. Examples, I'm really tired. How long are we going to do this? That place clearly sucks. Then next, intense tone. What is intense tone? It is typically used when the writer needs to express a strong opinion. When a writer needs to express a strong opinion, the intensity provides clarity and forcefulness. The intensity provides clarity and forcefulness. A sentence written with this type of tone may discuss controversial or dangerous topics. Okay, a sentence written with this type of tone may discuss controversial or dangerous topics. Examples: I find it offensive how you always ask me out for drinks whenever we are together. Or, it's my right to decide what kind of relationship I want. Intimate tone. What is intimate tone? It is typically reserved for personal conversations. It is always typically reserved for personal conversations. This type of writing often has a friendly and informal feel. The tone can be used when the reader and writer are bonded with an element of trust or closeness. Okay, it always represents our friendly nature, our uh, cordial nature with someone. Example: I hope you are doing well. Your mom was telling me all about what happened last night. Are you okay? Then 83rd number tone is ironic tone. An ironic tone used a combination of sarcasm and humor. A combination of sarcasm and humor. An ironic tone is often used by people who are trying to make light-hearted jokes about serious topics. With an ironic tone, speakers often say the opposite of what they feel. Okay? Speakers often say the opposite of what they feel. Examples: what a coincidence! My mom got me into this program too. This is great weather for a funeral. Then next, irreverent tone. Revere means to respect or to worship or to. An irreverent tone is typically used when the writer is trying to lighten up a situation or deliver humor. An irreverent tone is typically used when the writer is trying to lighten up a situation or deliver humor. Speakers using an irreverent tone often don't take themselves too seriously. Okay? Revere. Okay. Speakers using an irreverent tone often don't take themselves too seriously. Example: I don't care what the experts say. Lighten up, it's just your marriage. Then 85th number tone is jaded tone. What is jaded tone? It is often used when the writer has lost hope in their work or life. In their work or life. A jaded tone doesn't always have to be fully negative, but it does communicate a pessimistic opinion. Okay, it always represent it most of the time. It represents hopelessness. Okay, or desperity. Examples: I cannot find any meaning in life anymore. If you are looking for answers, I don't think you are going to find them. Then next, joyful tone. A joyful tone is used when celebrating something. When celebrating something. It would be appropriate when writing about celebrations or events that are fun to read about. A writer used a joyous tone when they want to make their audience feel better by using positive language and imagery. Examples: how wonderful, or we are having such a good time tonight. Then, judgmental tone. A judgmental tone is typically used when somebody makes a critical or harsh remark. When somebody makes a critical or harsh remark. A judgmental tone can be used when the author looks down on the subject matter. Okay? When the author looks down on the subject matter. Examples: the professor is not good enough. You need more effort put into your work. Then next one is laudatory tone. What is laudatory tone? A laudatory tone is characterized by praise, adoration, or appreciation. Praise, adoration, or appreciation. This type of writing often has a positive connotation and is usually written with an air of reverence or solemnity. An air of reverence or solemnity. Example: you are truly dedicated. Your work inspires me. Then 89th number of tone is light-hearted tone. What is light-hearted tone? It is used when the writer doesn't take anything very seriously. It is generally casual and usually uses humor to put the audience at ease. Example: I tell them they are welcome to come back, but they aren't. It's not a big deal. I know how you can fix this. Then next, loving tone. A loving tone is typically used when people are talking to or about a talking about a close friend or family member. Again, reiterating, a loving tone is typically used when people are talking to a close friend or talking about a family member. It can also be used in formal settings when the speaker expresses affection. Example: I loved the time we spent together. Let's hang out on Friday night. We always have so much fun. Then next, macabre tone. What is macabre tone? A macabre tone is typically used when writing about death, violence, or other dark subjects. Okay? This tone can be found in horror texts. It instills a sense of fear and dread. It instills a sense of fear and dread. Examples: I'm scared for my life. Nobody survived. Then, malicious tone. What is malicious tone? A malicious tone is often used when people are trying to hurt someone emotionally. The tone is this type of writing the tone in this type of writing is used aggressive, usually aggressive. A malicious tone might be found in gossip articles that seek to ruin someone's reputation. Okay, or it malicious tone can be called gossip tone. Example, don't get upset if you are not invited to my party. I always have good taste, you are the worst. Then mean-spirited tone. Mean-spirited tone. It always express uh, selfish nature. Okay. A mean-spirited tone is typically used when the writer is expressing their anger towards somebody or something. Mean-spirited writing implies that the subject is not worth wasting words on. Okay. When the subject is not worth wasting words on. Example, I'm never buying from you again, or I want nothing to do with you. Then 94, mischievous tone. What is mischievous tone? It can be used when the speaker talks about something in a very reckless, playful manner. Very reckless, playful manner. It aims to exploit or mislead people either seriously or as a joke. Either seriously or as a joke. It aims to exploit or mislead people either seriously or as a joke. Examples, if you are going to Australia, watch out for drop bears. I am sorry you feel like we were trying to take advantage of you. We would never do that. Then next, mocking tone. It is typically used to ridicule or make fun of someone. The mockery comes across as sarcastic or might contain might contain condescending remarks or ridiculous or kind of we can say uh, funny remarks. Examples, I was looking forward to your performance, but you totally blew it. Why do I always have to lead you by the hand? Then next, mourning tone. Okay, mourning tone. A mourning tone is something that often appears in writing when somebody feels regret or sadness after experiencing a loss. When a writer or a speaker feels regret or sadness, then he always use mourning tone. The tone can take different forms, from complimenting someone who has passed away to expressing profound sadness. Okay, from complimenting, here compliment means as a negative compliment, who has passed away to expressing profound sadness. Examples, I'm sorry for your loss. She was a really great person. It's too late. All I have now are the memories. Then, naive tone. What is naive tone? It is typically used when a writer lacks a full understanding of something. When a writer lacks a full understanding of something. This tone has a sense of innocence to it, but it might also have some hidden meanings behind it. But it might also have some hidden meanings behind it. Examples: I can't believe someone would steal from that store. I can't believe someone would steal from that store. There is even a sign that says no shoplifting. Or doesn't everyone study over spring break? Then next one is narcissistic tone. What is narcissistic tone? It is often used in writing when the writer wants to emphasize their own importance and power. When author or writer wants to emphasize their own importance and power. Narcissistic writing has a sense of entitlement and self-indulgence. Entitlement and self-indulgence or self-involvement. Examples: I'm so amazing. I should totally write a memoir. Then next one is nasty tone. What is nasty tone? A nasty tone is typically used when the writer wants to convey negative emotions like hate. This type of writing may cause the reader to feel discomfort. Examples: you are ugly. You did a terrible job on that presentation last week. Then hundredth number of or hundred type of tone is negative tone. A negative tone often appears in writing when someone is expressing a low opinion of something or somebody. The speaker's voice might have a sense of frustration and defeat as if the subject isn't worth their time. Okay? The speaker's voice might have a sense of frustration and defeat and as if the subject isn't worth their time. Examples: success is impossible. You have done everything wrong again. You have done everything wrong again. Then next one is nostalgic tone. Nostalgic tone. Nostalgic writing is typically used when the writer describes memories they feel sentimental about. A nostalgic tone can be seen as more of a thought or feeling than a concrete statement. It means the nostalgic tone always represents a thought or feeling rather than showing a concrete statement. But it still provides information about what was happening at the time in question. Examples: the old days were so much better. When I think back on my high school years, I wish I was young again. When I think back on my high school years, I wish I was young again. Then next, objective tone. It is used when explaining or describing an idea, place, or event. Objective writing avoids stating any personal feelings and simply provides facts with no bias. Okay, the audience can then form their own opinion. The audience can then form their own opinion. It's opposite of subjective tone or subjective writing, where a writer an author or a speaker always represents their own feelings, own emotions, own experience, but an objective tone always represent or always shows fact-based data that should be also unbiased. Examples: there are many different species within the animal kingdom. New York is 205 miles from here. It is a kind of data or fact. Then next one is obsequious tone. What is obsequious tone? An obsequious tone is typically used when a writer is trying to find the favor of somebody else. Okay, when the writer is trying to find the favor of somebody else. For some, this could feel too familiar and cause offense, while others may find it charming. Okay, examples: I am so sorry that I offended you. I know you are very generous. Please consider giving me the extra 5%. Then next one is optimistic tone, okay, or hopeful. An optimistic tone is typically used when writer is trying to make somebody feel better about something they are going through. Okay, when writer when the writer is trying to make somebody feel better about something they are going through. Optimistic writing tries to make the audience feel good about themselves or the examiner. The audience here, audience means examiner, your reader, or then examples. It's okay if you were not able to find your keys. We can start looking again tomorrow morning after breakfast. He's probably interested. You should call him back. Then next, outrage tone. What is outrage tone? It is typically used when the speaker or writer wants to express their anger towards something. An outrageous tone is generally negative about something external but also shows internal anger and frustration. Examples: it's unfair how people on my team get paid more than me. I'm so angry right now. I feel sickened by what she said about her cousin during dinner last time. Then, outspoken tone. It is typically used when somebody is talking about an emotional or controversial subject. Outspoken writing comes across as bluntly honest and straightforward without being disrespectful. Examples: no matter how long it's been in place, this policy needs to change. What he said was very racist. Then next, patronizing tone. A patronizing tone is typically used in writing when somebody is trying to show dominance or superiority. When somebody is trying to show dominance or superiority. The tone often has an air of condensation and is shows a lack of respect for others. Okay, it always shows superiority or uh, godlike nature or a godlike miracle. Examples: you are not even worth my time. You are not even worth my time. I see you are struggling today. You need my help to get out of this mess. Then pensive tone. What is pensive tone? It describes or it shows or it represents a kind of introspective, thoughtful feeling. Okay, introspective or thoughtful feeling. A pensive sentence usually has an air of uncertainty about it and often deals with something new or unfamiliar. Examples: I'm starting to worry now. What if my grades start slipping? I've never felt this way before. Then persuasive tone. What is persuasive tone? A writer uses a persuasive tone when he trying to convince somebody else to see things from a particular point of view. Okay, a persuasive tone uses reasoning and evidence based arguments or emotional appeals to try and change the reader's perspective or examiner's perspective. Examples: let's go eat lunch. I'm sure you will like the restaurant. It's getting dark, so we should start heading home now. Then next one is pessimistic tone. A pessimistic tone can appear in writing when somebody is feeling hopeless or devastated about something. This tone usually takes the form of a narrative that reflects on how much worse things may get. Examples: they were never going to approve your plan without you changing your approach. Or I am so fed up, I didn't think things could get this bad. Then next, philosophical tone. What is philosophical tone? It is often used in writing that focuses on an abstract topic or idea. Then focuses on an abstract topic or idea. It always shows essence. A philosophical tone typically shows the writer is analyzing something by questioning everything within a particular framework. Okay, it is the tone that shows that a writer is analyzing something or analyzing or pondering over something by questioning everything within a particular framework. That is why it is called philosophical tone. Examples: what if we decide not to do anything? I wonder why my life is this way. Then playful tone. What is playful tone? It has an air of innocence and can sometimes be seen as frivolous or not serious. But it doesn't lack creativity. The playful tone makes light of situation. It gives off a sense that everything will work out in time. Examples: I never thought my teacher would have so much trouble understanding my writing. This is quite a conundrum. Then next, pragmatic tone. A pragmatic tone is typically used when information has to be delivered in a short amount of time. When information has to be delivered in a short amount of time. The speaker focuses on practical solutions and results. Practical, pragmatic. Here, pragmatic means practical or dog-headed tone. The speaker focuses on practical solutions and results. Examples: although it might be difficult, but need to tell the truth to fix this. Did that work out the way we wanted? Then, pretentious tone. A pretentious tone is typically used when the writer feels they have something to teach. They have something to teach. This type of writing can be condescending and arrogant because it assumes a certain lack of knowledge on the part of the audience. Examples: to get ahead, you need to learn how to be the best. Or this theory is probably beyond your understanding. Then next, regretful tone. What is regretful tone? It is typically used when people express heartbreak, disappointment, or remorse. Sentences with a regretful tone usually have a negative connotation. Examples: I feel sorry for what happened to you during your first day at school today. Or I should have helped you this morning instead of pushing you so hard. Then resentful tone. What is resentful tone? It often appears or shows in writing when someone feels betrayed or upset or cheated by something that happened to them. A resentful tone is typically aggressive and hostile, and it implies a lack of trust in the relationship between the writer and the subject matter. Lack of trust. It always shows lack of trust. Examples: I don't think you are being honest about this project. It's your fault we lost our jobs. Then resigned tone. Resigned tone. A resigned tone is typically used when the writer feels hopeless about a situation. Resigned writing usually comes across as pessimistic or numb, which might create an uncomfortable feeling for the reader if it's too long winded. If it's too long winded. Examples: I know you didn't mean that. I am just sick of trying to make this work. This situation will never get any better. Then next, restrained tone. Restrained tone. A restrained tone is typically used when writer holds something back, such as information or emotions. A restrained tone often implies a sense of mystery and confidentiality as well as calm. This can show many different shades of meaning depending on the situation. Examples: I don't have any opinion of my boss. I'm not supposed to reveal much, so don't tell anybody about this. Then next one is reverent tone. Reverent tone is typically used when people are writing about things they look up to or respect. They look up to or respect. This is particularly associated with religion. A reverent tone can be seen in texts that express wonder for the subject. Examples: how I wish there were how I wish there were more saints like you. We all need God's love. Ridiculous tone. A ridiculous tone can be described as being very far-fetched or inane. The writer knows the audience won't believe them, but still tries to convince them anyway. Okay? It's a total waste of time. Like that. Examples: this report says there is a new type of fish called Dorito fish. And that's why I couldn't finish my homework. Then next one is righteous tone. What is righteous tone? A righteous tone is commonly used in writing when the writer is defending their belief system. When the writer is defending their belief system, such as upholding a particular cause. A righteous tone showcases the writer's virtuousness as having moral authority over the audience. Okay, examples: I will show I will show you the proper way to act. You are making things worse by doing this. Then sarcastic tone. It is often used as a form of humor. It can be insulting or witty depending on the tone and style of the writer. It can be insulting or witty depending on the tone and style of the writer. Sarcasm is not as common in written form because the words inflation matter. Because the words inflation matter. Words inflection. Examples: I'm so upset that my perfect life has been ruined by this homework assignment. Oh, yes, everyone loves you here. Then 123rd number tone is satirical tone. What is satirical tone? Or we can pronounce it in satirical. A satirical tone is typically used to poke fun at or criticize something or someone, particularly in public figure. In contrast to a sarcastic tone, a satirical tone is less aggressive. A sarcastic tone's severity is more aggressive than satirical tone. Examples: although the program was a complete failure, I am sure we can all agree this money was well spent. We might be able to find a better leader. Anyone really? Then 124th number tone is sketching tone. What is sketching tone? It is used when the writer feels a strong need to make a negative argument or express their frustrations with something. This type of writing usually has a lot of hostility. Examples: the article seems very biased. I am going to have to disagree with that opinion. That was unsafe. You are lucky you didn't get your car totaled. Scornful tone. What is scornful tone? It is typically used when the writer is trying to show they dislike somebody. A scornful tone looks down on, criticizes, or belittles the subject. The writer might resort to name calling or questioning people's motives. Examples: that was careless. You thought that was you thought that was an okay thing to do, really? Then next one is sensationalistic tone. Sensationalistic tone. A sensationalistic tone is used in writing to create a sense of excitement. The tone usually comes across as dramatic with words that are meant to make an emotional impact on the audience. It can come off as propaganda, not as an informative piece. Examples: is he really dead? You won't believe what happened next. Then 127th number tone is sentimental tone. What is sentimental tone? A sentimental tone is typically used when the writer wants to share memories or feelings about something special or personal. Sentimental writing often focuses more on feelings and emotions than it has on facts and ideas. Examples: it was hard for me to say goodbye, but I'm really happy about what you are planning to do next. Marrying my high school sweetheart felt like a dream come true. Then 128th number tone is sincere tone. A sincere tone is typically used when the writer is trying to convey a sense of truth, authenticity, or honesty. Sincere sentences lack pretense and rhetorical flourishes. Examples: it was freezing out there today. You must be cold. I'm sorry for being so nasty yesterday at work. I was having a very stressful day. Then next, skeptical tone. What is skeptical tone? A skeptical tone can be used in writing when the writer is expressing doubt about something. It often appears in a formal setting with a great emphasis on accuracy. This tone is also often common in investigative journalism. Examples: the results reported by this study are unreliable because they were not peer reviewed prior to publication. or this product has ingredients that have been shown to cause cancer and other diseases if ingested over time. Then solemn tone or solemn tone. The solemn tone is typically used when writer has a very serious topic to discuss. When a writer has a very serious topic to discuss, it's often used in writing when death or other negative topics that call for sympathy from readers. Examples: Emma passed away yesterday at 2 p.m. after battling cancer for 3 years, or on what could have been his last day alive, he made a courageous decision. Then next, subjective tone. What is subjective tone? A subjective tone is typical type of writing that primarily uses feelings to convey meaning. It's often used when someone is very emotional about something, where this concerns positive or negative emotions. Whether this concerns positive or negative emotions. Again, reading: what is subjective tone? It is a type of writing that primarily uses feelings to convey meaning. It's often used when someone is very emotional about something, whether this concerns positive or negative emotions. Examples: I think this party was terrible. I feel like everybody will be interested in this book. Then next, submissive tone. What is submissive tone? It is typically used when someone is following orders or trying to show agreement. A submissive tone usually expresses that someone wants approval. Examples: I'll do it your way. I have followed your instructions in the letter. Then 133rd number tone is sulking tone. What is sulking tone? It is typically used when somebody is feeling upset, frustrated, on, or even moderately angry about something. Not fully agree, moderately angry about something. A sentence with this tone usually reflects feelings of loneliness and sorrow, and or the the speaker may blame others for the situation. Examples: I don't know why you did what you did. That was so inconsiderate. Then next, surprise tone. A surprised tone is used when the writer wants to express awe or amazement. This typically a surprised tone has an emotional impact on its audience because it tries to capture a larger than life feeling. Samples: I can't believe this happened. The fireworks tonight were mind blowing. Sympathetic tone. What is sympathetic tone? A sympathetic tone is usually used when the writer wants to show they feel the pain of somebody who is going through a difficult time. In contrast with empathy, sympathy means sharing the same feelings as someone else. Examples: You must be so disappointed after waiting all years for your team to make the playoffs only to fall short. I feel sorry for you right now. Then tolerate tone. What is tolerant tone? A tolerant tone is typically used in writing when the writer wants to show compassion for someone who has done something wrong or has different views. Tolerance doesn't mean adopting someone else's view, but rather being patient is considering people's differences instead of reacting negatively. Patient is considering people's differences instead of reacting negatively. Examples: I'm not sure I agree with what you said to your sister. Can you tell me more about what happened? Let your kids know that you love them no matter what. Then 137th number tone is tragic tone. What is tragic tone? It is typically sad and heartfelt and often describing a dark or depressing situation. A tragic tone can be used to show the feelings of someone who has experienced a loss. A tragic tone explores how people feel. Examples: I remember the horror of the night when all this happened, or she's been struggling since her parents passed away last year. Then next, unassuming tone. What is unassuming tone? It shows the writer feels humble or conscious of their lack of knowledge. An unassuming tone can be used to express thoughts on a topic without claiming expertise. Examples: I feel pretty insecure about myself these days and I am not sure how I should go forward. You seem to know what you are doing. Can you show me? Then next, uneasy tone. What is uneasy tone? An uncomfortable tone is typically used, or an uneasy tone is typically used when the writer feels insecure about something or is hesitant to write about a topic. They might have conflicting thoughts or they might think the topic is unpleasant. Examples: this was not a fun article to write. I am not comfortable sharing this information and would like to keep it confidential for the time being. Then next one is urgent tone. And an urgent tone is typically used when the writer has this sense that something needs to be done quickly. The urgency can come from both external and internal sources. Examples: please read this article as soon as possible. You need to decide whether we should proceed with tomorrow night's show at your venue. Or to win this race, I need you all to do one more push now. Then vindictive tone. What is vindictive tone? It often shows in writing or appears in writing when writer is expressing anger, hatred, or resentment for something or and wants to take revenge or wants to take revenge. Example, I cannot believe you did this. That's it, I'm going to tell everyone why he dumped me in high school. Then next number tone is virtuous tone. What is virtuous tone? It is used in writing when someone is trying to recommend an action or make a moral statement. It displays confidence and enthusiasm and it promotes good values. Examples, you should look into getting some financial advice. That was a very warm gesture. Thank you. Then next one is weary tone. A weary tone is typically used when a person has been through a lot, either emotionally or physically. This tone always shows that the speaker is tired and feels beaten down, and it can sound very pessimistic. Examples, I have had enough. Let's head home for good. I am in a lot of trouble. There is no easy solution. Then 144th number tone is whimsical tone. What is whimsical tone? It is often used in creative writing such as poetry or fiction. This type of voice can be playful and fun-spirited while also being candid. It makes the reader have fun in the experience. Examples, that was a bizarre experience and I'm not sure whether to laugh or cry. As I went out into my backyard just now, I saw a weird frog. It looked like your aunt. Then 145 number tone is worried tone. A worried tone is typically used when somebody is feeling anxious, insecure, or frustrated about something. A worried tone would also characterize someone who does not understand why they are experiencing certain feelings of anxiety or insecurity. Examples, let's stay home tonight. There is too much unrest in this city. I am so embarrassed. What will people think? Then next number is raised tone. A raised tone is typically used to describe something that has caused great suffering to the writer or subject. Sentences in a raised tone are always negative, with most of them expressing anger, pain, and resentment. For example, I am so frustrated by how my parents raised me. She wasn't welcome back home. She was not welcome back home after being away for over 6 months. It would take much longer to heal. Then, appreciative tone. What is appreciative tone? An appreciative tone is usually used when the writer has just finished something that they really enjoyed or were impressed by. It should always come across as honest and genuine. Examples, I loved your essay writing service. That's amazing. You are so talented. Then cautionary tone. What is cautionary tone? A cautionary tone is typically used when something potentially dangerous or negative might happen. This type of tone uses harsh language and treats its subject very seriously. Examples: be careful driving in this area without your seatbelt on. Watch out for that crazy driver who just pulled out into traffic. Then, diplomatic tone. What is diplomatic tone? It is notably used in communications between countries and for other international relationships. A diplomatic tone usually has a uh, cautious undertone to it, as the writer doesn't want to make any assumptions. The voices in this type of writing often have a detached quality, not attached, but detached quality that makes them sound formal, okay, or unfriendly. Examples: it's still unclear if we can trust these guys. Some people may struggle to believe what you are saying. Then, direct tone. What is direct tone? It is usually used in writing when the writer directly expresses what they are thinking, rather than pondering over a topic or or without thinking more. The text is written in a with a straightforward attitude without any sugarcoating or careful phrasing. Again reiterating, a direct tone is usually used in writing when the writer directly expresses what they are thinking. Okay, the text is written with a straightforward attitude without any sugarcoating or careful phrasing. Examples: your essay was very short. This problem is difficult to solve. Enthusiastic tone. What is enthusiastic tone? It is typically used in writing when the writer is excited about something. The tone is often inviting and welcoming, even if the reason for the excitement is unclear. Examples: I know you are up to this challenge. You must try their tacos. I have never had anything better than them.